Hi all, my name is Brittany. If you're new, welcome to this channel. I talk about books, but today I come to talk to you guys like the purpose and the intention of this video. The intention, not what's going to actually happen. I have no idea what's going to happen in this video, but the intentions is just to have like a very cool vibey book vlog or reading vlog to a certain extent. I have a couple of books that I wanted to read. I really want to go to the store and buy one other book, but I'm trying to hold off because I don't need it, but I really want to read it. So we might, but the first step that I made today was to my local library, and I got a library card. This is like my first adult library card, and I'm super stoked, super excited about it. They have a little key ring, so convenient. So I'm gonna start getting books here, but yes, in my mind, in terms of reading books, I'm sorry about the lighting. Life is just what it is. It's just what it is, girl. But in terms of me reading, I don't like to invest a lot on the front hand. I invest on the back end type of thing, where I don't want to have to spend a lot of money on books that I don't know if I'm going to like. I'm more so, I read books for either free or cheaply, and then if I love those books, or those books are just incredible to me, then I'll go out and I'll buy the physical copy to add it to my library, because I just want to be very intentional with the books that I have. And so most times, I'll say 90% of the times, I'm not gonna just buy a new book. Sometimes I buy used books, but not just a fresh new book without specifically knowing that I love it. Today's video, we're gonna be talking about 3 different books. Later on, I'll kind of tell you what they're about, but one is The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, one is The Handmaid's Tale, and just a tidbit, I'm not sponsored, I wish I was, but a new season of The Handmaid's Tale is coming out on Hulu. I thought that the last season was the end, because that's kind of how they chalked it up to be, but there's a new season coming out, and I'll tell you, if you've never heard of this book or never heard of this story, I'll give you a little bit more information when I read a little bit more into this. I did read this is kind of a reread for me. The first time I read this book was an audiobook, and now I'm actually physically reading it. It is by Margaret Atwood, and it's, girl, it's a lot going on. It's a lot not going on. So that's the first book. The second book that I'm interested in starting, I haven't started this at all. It is Still Life with Breadcrumbs. Honestly, I judged it by its cover. It looked like a nice cover. It looked like a cozy, sitting down, chilling read. I'm gonna be kind of traveling, a light traveling places over the next day. So I was just let's get some books, and so I can read in my free time. And then I want to get one other book, and that's the book that I really want to go and purchase, but it's just it's not necessary. None of these books are the books I came in with before, so it's time to leave. It's time to leave. Okay, so you remember, I don't know if I cut this out of the video or if I didn't cut this. Hello. I'm not sure if I cut this out of the video or if I didn't cut this out of the video, when I said oh yeah, I don't really buy books. Let me see if I need to move up. I need to move up just a little bit. When I was just oh yeah, I don't buy books pretty much new. They're all, I don't like that he's in my shot, you know what I mean? You're in my shot. I don't know if you remember when I said that. I didn't mean today. I meant other days. Other days, typically, I'm not going to major bookstores mainly to buy physical books, because just like, how do I know if I like them? But Books a Million, I'm not sure what's going on with this Books a Million. It's very interesting because the Books a Million that I went to was near when I was like growing up and like went to school, and like everybody was like at that Books a Million, and it's like quieter now. And I'm not sure what's going on, but they had a lot of books on their like bargain. I don't know if it's like a commonality. I'm not sure what's going on, but I bought some. I bought 4 of them. And they didn't have the book that I wanted. The book that I wanted, I will put on the screen, but it's the three of us. They didn't have it, so I have to like order it online. Yeah, I'm gonna order it online. So let me show you the books that I purchased. The first book, I'm not gonna lie, the cover got me. This is a young adult book. It is called Delicious Monsters, and I just skimmed the first part. Like, I'm just gonna tell you the first bit that I read, and then I just stopped. It says, Daisy sees dead people. Sometimes it's impossible to forget in the bustling, ghost-packed Toronto. She usually managed to deal with her unwanted ability, but she is completely unprepared to be dumped by her boyfriend. And I said, you know what, I'ma just... And there's a girl named Brittany in here. Anyway. But I just left it at that. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but it was, discounted. Then the second one, I read this one, I'm kind of very much interested in. It's called Girls Burn Brighter. I'm not gonna lie to you, I most definitely judge a book by its cover, at least on the rip, right? Not that I won't pick it up, but off the rip, I am judging by a cover. This is a book about basically girl fortitude. It's kind of the vibes, and we're following 2 Indian girls, and they're going on this journey. One specific girl, she has the death of her mother. Her father's trying to find her like a suitor to marry, and she's like responsible for the care of her siblings and all that. And this just seems like the oldest sister redemption arc, like, plate. And so I'm like really interested to read this book. It kind of gives me a book like it's going to make me really feel something, like I'ma feel something. Then I got The Heart Principle. This book, I got it because it sounded delusional. That's why it sounds delusional. Like, this whole book sounds delusional. So basically, it's about this girl. Her boyfriend comes to her, longtime boyfriend comes to her and says like, oh, I want an open relationship. I want to like see other people. And so the synopsis, hopefully this is not spoiling anything, but she starts wanting to find, or like basically have sex with the most how do they explain it? The most unacceptable men, right? The most unacceptable men as possible. And she meets this man named Quan, but Quan and her tried to like do the deed, I guess, like 3 different times, and like they just can't or something. Like, I guess some things happen, I'm not sure, but and then it's like, oh my, like the synopsis is saying like it's so much more than just the physical, like it's so much more with Quan. I'm just like, that sounds delusional. That sounds absolutely delusional, but I'm excited. I feel as though a lot of people have read this book. I don't remember what the reviews are, if they were like, oh yeah I liked it, or oh yeah I didn't. So I got that book. This is a lot of books, I'm not gonna. And then all of them are hard copy too. For all time, I picked up this book as well. And this book is a romance, right? But I'm thinking it's for ages 14 and up. I don't think it's young adult. Or maybe it is. I don't know. 14 and up is young adult, right? Ooh, I just saw something. Okay. I know, I'm sorry, I'm really gassing it up. I just saw a little chapter blurb, and it said that I guess some of it is based, or maybe like a chapter is based in Cape Town, South Africa. And I've been telling my family like so often that I want to go to South Africa, and so it's kind of like oh, is this it? What's going on? Anyway, so basically what the book is about is 2 people who have on multiple times, how I was explaining this, multiple times they've fallen in love. and then something happens and they fall out, and then they fall back in love, and we're going through all of the stages, or I guess we get to see all of the things of like how they fall in love, and then this is how, and they finally get to see how the story ends. Let me read you the small blurb. Hopefully I don't mess it up. It says, together Tamar and Fayard had lived 1,000 lives, seeing the world build itself from nothing only to tear itself down during the Civil War. They even watched humanity take to the stars, but in each life, one thing remains the same: their love, their fight to be together. One love story after another. The only issue is they never get to see how their story ends until now. When Tamar and Fayard finally discover what it will take to break the cycle, will they be able to make the sacrifice? Anyway, we have way too many books now, and yeah, and I got them all for pretty much a really good price. Like, none of them were over like $7 a piece, so can't truly complain. I will talk to you guys later whenever I get to wherever I'm going. I don't know, whenever I get there, bro. Whenever I get there. Hello. It's been a couple of days. Yeah, it's raining outside. If you hear thunder, disregard. I kind of finished, no, I didn't finish any of these books, but I'm at least 1/4 way or more through these 2 books that I talked to you about. I went to hang out with my mother a couple of days ago, and we kind of exchanged, did like a little small book exchange. I gave her what was that book called? For All Life? For the Love of Life. It was a romance book that I talked to you guys about how they were like continuously like falling in love with each other, but they couldn't be together for whatever reason, and until now, and they have to figure out, are they willing to make the sacrifices necessary to be together? I don't know if you remember that one. That book. I gave that one to my mom, and then she gave me this book. I kind of want to do like a whole like low-key video essay breakdown whole thing over this book. This book is pushed by Sapphire, and it is like the adaptation of this book is the movie Precious. And from the information that my mother gave me, like the book is much worse. So yeah, girl. So I am going to read this. I think I'm going to probably make more of an extensive video specifically on this book and kind of like a deep dive a little bit of it, and maybe like a whole plot breakdown. We'll see. I can't make any promises, but that's kind of like the idea. But let's talk about the books for today. My goal in today's video, I think I might go to the library if the rain stops, mainly. Like, even if it doesn't stop, I'll probably still go, but and get some books there. Yes, and just take you along that journey. But right now, over the past couple of days since I've been speaking to you guys, I've been reading The Handmaid's Tale and Life is Still Left Breadcrumbs. I'm going to start off with this book just because I don't have that much to say about it. One, I was super confused. Maybe I should have like read the synopsis a little bit more, but when I started this book, I was super confused as like, what are we talking about? What is happening? Like, where is this going? Because I had a feeling, I believe it's a love story, but it's not set up like the traditional, like standard, typical, like romance novels where it's always kind of like formulated. One, and then two, this author writes how I talk sometimes. And what I mean by that is when I say things or when I'm explaining things or if I have an idea in my head, I will go to the moon and back to come back to the point that I was trying to make. Like, I have to take you on this journey to the moon to come back to make a point. And this is how she writes. And at first it was a little bit like, what are we talking about? Like, why are we here? And then it comes back to the point that she's trying to make. And I'm not all the way through this book. There have been times, lulls in this book, where I'm like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. And then there's times where I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I'm trying to see where this goes, because right now there is a little bit of like mystery, because the character, her name is Rebecca, and Rebecca is a photographer. She is photographing. One of the things about her photography, she's very well known. However, her career has kind of like tapered off, and she doesn't, when she's photographing things, she doesn't manipulate it. She doesn't like move an item to make it look more aesthetic. She just takes the pictures in their true state of when she finds it. And so she's going through the woods and she sees these like crosses that have like notes or like letters or markings on them, but she doesn't know who's putting them there. And then when she goes back to look for them again, they're not there anymore. And so there's kind of like this mystery. There is also, I think his name is Jim or Tim. I don't know. I think he's the love Jim Bates. I think he's the love interest, but like it's so nuanced and distant. And sometimes I'm reading, I don't know if it's because I'm reading a lot of times I'm reading in public and there's a lot of noise around me, but I just can't like zone in on the story, which may be a me thing. But yes, I don't really have a full consensus. I am going to finish the book. At first there was some brief moments where I was just like, do I want to read this? Do I want to finish this? But I do want to finish it just to have I need to have an understanding what's going on. And then The Handmaid's Tale is the next book. So I'm going to give you a very, 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 very brief synopsis over what this book is about. This book is by Margaret Atwood, and it is situated in a world where it's the U.S. geographically, and it's after their second civil war. But this civil war was more so about religious based. And so now this country, the United States, no longer exists. It is Gilead, and they are under a totalitarian, I hear it in my head. Okay, they are under a totalitarian regime. Anyway, in this country, it just has very specific like social roles, and I think the thing that I find so interesting about this book is that the author has like a excerpt in the beginning where she's talking about The Handmaid's Tale, and the question was asked, first, is The Handmaid's Tale a feminist novel? If you mean as an ideological track which all women are angels or so victimized that they are incapable of moral choice, no. If you mean a novel in which women are human beings with a variety of characters and behaviors that implies and are also interesting and important, and what happens to them is crucial to the theme, structure, plot of this book, then yes. In that sense, many books are feminist. And so the thing is just like, it's so very interesting. I'm not going to get into my whole view of feminism, but that isn't even a plot summary. Basically, we're following this woman, Offred. She doesn't tell us her name. These people, handmaids, who are going into these families' houses, and their only purpose in there is as an incubator. They are there for the purpose of their uterus so that they can have children. And have children with basically the commander. But yeah, so that's pretty much very, very loosely. Hopefully that made sense. I have no idea. But that is The Handmaid's Tale in the book that I'm reading. I should be able to finish this like relatively soon because I'm pretty much like I have like I think not that many pages left. I don't know. That is that. I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys for a quick second. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Or I'll see you guys reading. I just left the library, got some books, and I was in the building and I was reading primarily The Handmaid's Tale, and I was just like questioning like why have like there's been like a resurgence lately specifically with me of, let me lock my doors. There's been a resurgence lately specifically with me of reading more books, and I'm just like questioning why that is. Like what has promoted me or kind of like influenced me to like want to read more. And I think primarily, especially after reading The Handmaid's Tale, it is like this consistent act of defiance is what it feels like. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like these small nuances that we take so for granted in our life, especially for me as a woman, and it just feels like a small act of rebellion, even if it's in a beneficial way to me. But like reading or writing or driving, right? It's like these small acts that are, of course, should not be this whole politicized event. However, in so many places, in so many regions, it is, and it feels like a small act of rebellion, and I just like really, really, really enjoy that. But for me, I never grew up just like reading a whole bunch of books. I started reading like last year, like maybe 9 months ago, 9 months ago. So very much new in terms of like the consistency of me reading, and I've been enjoying it, and I don't feel as though it's gonna stop. But I think that me reading goes beyond just making content about it. I think that that's also a motivator, but what's also a motivator is just a little bit of defiance towards it. Anyway, I went to this specific library because they had the books that I wanted. That is why. So they have the Three of Us that I talked to you guys about earlier in this video. What I do like about the library is that because I have to return it at a specific date, it's going to put like a fire under me to like actually read these books. It's gonna put a fire under me to read them. I'm gonna do that. That's one of them. The second book is by the book. It is about Isabel. She's kind of completely lost. Her life isn't turning out how she wants it to turn out, and she's in this publishing house, and there's this opportunity that she feels like she can like embark on so that she can get the promotion that she wants and kind of like jumpstart her career. It is a romance book. I'm not opposed to romance books. However, I'm not a person who can only read romance books because it just feels too, I don't know, it's just too much. I feel like I have a cavity. It's just like, I don't want to read that back to back to back, me personally. While I was in the building, I mainly read The Handmaid's Tale. This book, I would definitely recommend for you to read. Like, I'm almost done with the book. I only have, I think, a little less than 100 pages. I would definitely recommend for you to read the book. Most definitely. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be the end for today's video. It was kind of like a little bit, you know, we did a little bit of everything. We did a little reading, we did a little shopping. We got books from various different places. I also, like, last tidbit, I guess, that I want to talk about. I don't feel as though reading books, if you want to read books, or having books should be this economic, financial strain. I do know that, like, obviously hobbies that you have, you invest in them, you put money towards them, but specifically in terms of books, I don't feel as though you should have to feel like you need to purchase all these books, hardcover books that you have not read before, that you don't know if you would like. And if you're not at that place, especially if you're starting off reading, like for me starting off reading, I read exclusively on my iPad. Because I could not be invested in any like specific books. Like that wasn't something I was gravely interested in, and even now I'm still going to be reading on my iPad as just easily. And then two, another thing, I guess that was not the last tidbit, but the next thing is, if you just want to listen to audiobooks, that's okay too. If you don't want to read at all, that's okay too. Like, you have all these choices, but I don't feel as though there's a right way to do it. And I think that there sometimes can be like this nuance of, oh yeah, this is the right way to read a book, and that's the wrong way to read a book or consume the content of a book. So that's it. That is all that I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and guess what? I'll see you next time.